Welcome back to another episode of I Know, a Solo Beatles videocast where we talk all things Solo Beatles. I am your host. He is Hudson and Andy, and today we have a guest. He's returning. We discussed the Mind Games album. He is one leg of two legs, a Paul McCartney podcast, along with Tom Hunyadi, and one and a half of Anything But the Beatles with Ethan Alexanian. Welcome back, Andy Nicholes.
Thank you for having me back on there, Mr. Rainey. How are you?
I'm alive.
You're alive and you're chilling and it's summertime, so that's a good thing. And you have been quite busy and with all your stuff, following it. So good luck and very good on what you're doing and following your progress with all your shows and your guests has been pretty cool to see.
Thank you. And Julia Baird was kind enough to send me a copy of her book,
which is called,
Imagine This.
Yeah.
Signed.
And when that was published, I want to say the early 2010s?
2005, I think.
Before that. Okay. I do remember that book coming out.
This is actually the older variant. They had to change the title or
something. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Julie is, and I'm sure, she's on the board of directors for the Cavern City tours. So she has a big, influence and a lot of, in Liverpool there with the tourism. And I got to see her speak on several occasions at different.
Did you ever get to talk to her?
Not one-on-one. I attended a couple of conferences where she spoke, but I never did meet her one-on-one, but nice lady.
Yeah. I will. Yeah, she's very nice. I mean, it's like you're talking to John. I mean,
very much
look so much alike.
That's it's John's mother's side you're seeing there, and she's got that. She's got the Lennon nose. She's got all that.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about the All Things Must Pass.
You really had to go there?
Yeah. Do you want to tell the folks at home what edition you bought?
Well, if you follow our world of podcasting shows, and everybody watching this does, I, along with my co-host, bought the Uber Box Crate edition of All Things Must Pass.
Are you moving into the crate?
Am I what?
Are you moving into the crate after?
You can cremate me and put my ashes inside of it if you want.
I still want the ghost of George Harrison to deliver it, or Olivia to just send a package to me.
Yeah, it's I went for it because I learned from my co-host that when some of these things come available, first of all, I kind of felt like Joe Mayo, you only live once, and we're collectors, right? And we don't buy every single thing under the sun. We buy a lot of it, where we buy most of it, but sometimes I've never really gone for anything. I didn't buy a Uber Flaming Pie box. I didn't buy the much talked about and oft discussed suitcase. So it's not, and some of these books that you see published by Genesis Publications that are like $700, $1,000 for these really nice, lavish books. I don't buy any of those things. So I'm not going to sit here and say I buy everything exclusive, but this one I just felt like I wanted to buy this one. And the fact that you could buy it, and pay it off over time, which is what Tom did with the suitcase. If that was an option, I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this, because other than that, I wouldn't have just bought it flat out. I mean, who can just, listen, if you can afford that, great, but I couldn't. So that's why I decided to.
Yeah, my poor teenager budget.
Listen, for a poor teenager, you're doing pretty damn well. You're doing better than I was at your age.
Thank you. Then Let It Be. What did you think about it not being a theatrical release?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I mean, as everybody's talked about, Matthew Street, Joe Mayo, it's, do you like going to the movies for a full cinematic experience on the big screen? Sure. But at the end of the day, we're Beatle geeks, right? We want more content. And with this new way, we got more content. So I'm fine with it dropping over 3 nights. To me, as a second generation Beatle fan who grew up in the 1990s, it reminds me straight of how the anthologies were.
Yeah, because I was talking to our good friend Kid O'Toole about it, and I mean, she was like, I wonder if that's on purpose.
Maybe. It's very similar to that. It has that feel like dropping, and then they're going to drop it on Disney Plus over the 3 nights. Who knows? I don't rule out the chance that there could be a theatrical version release down the line, maybe a month or two later. That's just a truncated version of that 6 hour thing. You know what I'm saying? The 6 hour documentary will drop, and then maybe there'll be a 2.5 hour worldwide, cinematic release.
Yeah. And so I think that's all we have. And the McCartney 3 Imagine Pink cassette was announced today.
Oh, damn. Yeah, run to your stores and go buy that freaking thing.
I know Darren DeVivo, who was a previous guest, had already ordered it.
He already did. Well, good for him. If you like that, hey, if you like it, who are we to criticize?
I mean, it looks like an old lady soap. I mean, your co-host didn't even buy it.
No, he didn't.
And I'm not buying this release. I couldn't even bring myself to listen to it in full.
No, I don't blame you. Other than that, that's pretty much it. This is the official video the official video for Sliding dropped a couple days ago.
Oh yeah,
on Paul's YouTube channel, which is just a guy surfing or whatever.
Yeah. And I did pick this up a couple of weeks ago. It's a budget blast from your past from the UK.
Oh, a budget is that on the Starline label?
No, it's from the UK. It's not MFP.
Oh, is it MFP?
Yeah.
Oh, it is MFP. Very nice. There it is.
Yeah.
Blast from your past. Yeah, how sad is it that Ringo got a greatest hits album of his own material before George did? Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I mean,
George's first compilation has half Beatles songs on it. I mean, come on. Really?
I don't even own that.
The best of George Harrison?
I don't.
You're not missing anything. I mean, come on. I mean, Ringo, that album comes out, Blast from Your Past comes out in 1975, and Ringo gets and poor George gets a compilation a year later, and half of it's Beatles songs. And I think because the record company just didn't want to put too many songs from All Things Must Pass on the record. Because to be fair, George had All Things Must Pass and Living in the Material World, Dark Horse, and Extra Texture. And those last two records didn't exactly set the world on fire. So no. So you really, I mean, so if they didn't, what were you going to put on? What were we going to put on there from Dark Horse or Extra Texture? So I mean,
would have liked to see Simply Shady or Ding Dong.
Right. Ding Dong. Maybe Ding Dong. I mean, it got a video and everything, but I mean, I remember being so disappointed with that album and even that cover to tie into today's theme of the show. It was just such a half-baked, half-assed thing from Capitol to do that. And it's nice that George has gotten other compilations, but as the Talk More Talk gang discussed a few shows ago, there's really not one complete, thorough George Harrison collection that encompasses all of his career. There is not.
Yeah, I mean, John, George, and Ringo. I meant John, Paul, and Ringo have all had one, I believe, in the last 10 years.
Yep.
I mean, George hasn't had one since, wasn't Let It Roll 2007?
Let It Roll, I think it was a little bit late. Let It Roll was a little after that. So, but even that still...
There wasn't anything from 33 1/3 on that, not two big hits on it.
But that's the problem. That's the problem with Let It Roll. So, the Best of Dark Horse is great, but it only covers the Dark Horse period.
Yeah.
And that's
it has 3 great new songs on it.
That's the attraction with that record. I mean, I think my co-host on Two Legs likes that compilation the best too. I think of the George compilations that are out there, just because it was 3 new songs and it really covered other material that you wouldn't have. I mean, that's how I first discovered a song like On Troppo and Here Comes the Moon in my early fandom days. So that was a very good.
Yeah, because what was that, 89? And I mean, how old were you? Like 6?
8.
Oh.
8, and I remember having it on cassette. So that was a good exposure record for younger people. And then 3 new songs, which I always love that with compilations. If you're gonna throw a compilation together, give the fan a reason to buy it if they didn't have the songs already. And that's one of the 3 brand new songs: Poor Little Girl, Cheer Down, and
Cockamamie Business.
Cockamamie Business, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 3 great songs. Cheer Down is probably my favorite Harrison song.
Cheer Down's tremendous, and is seen in the closing credits of Lethal Weapon 2, if you've never seen that film.
Yeah, I'm not a film person, so.
Oh,
I did know that.
Yeah, my co-host he'd grill you because he's like Mr. Movie Buff. That guy.
Yeah, he's Mr. whatever can make my wallet go wah
Yeah.
wah.
Yes. Wah, wah.
So let's start. What's your number 10 for best album covers?
Best out. This is all solo album covers. My number 10. So I'm just going to give you like a quick rundown of the numbers first before I show them. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So out of the 10, okay, 5 of them are Paul covers, Paul albums. Which, come on, I'm a co-host of a Paul McCartney podcast. Were you surprised? 5 of them are Paul. 2 are John. 2 is John, 2 are George, and 1 is Ringo.
Okay, I'm proud of you for having a Ringo pick in there.
Yes, yes, you got to throw Ringo. Yeah, you got to throw Ringo. A little bit of a curve, a little bit of a bone there. So my number 10, speaking about Sir Richard himself, is the 1973 Ringo.
Good choice.
Yeah, this one is really cool. I love this one. Again, early childhood memories with this one. Little throwback to Sergeant Pepper style here with all these cast of characters in the album cover. John and Yoko are on here. George is in here. Do you own this on vinyl?
Oh, of course I do.
Of course you do. Yeah. So
it's one of the few Ringo albums I actually do own on vinyl.
Yeah. Listen, this is Ringo's best album. Best commercially selling album. Produced by Richard Perry. I've always liked the kind of it just looks very flashy, very Ringo. The star. It's like he knows his brand. He knows his audience with this record. The curtain. Billy Shears, all the things that make Ringo are tied up in this record. And the cover, I always felt, represented that pretty well. The star right there, the light shining on him. There he is there. I just, the Do It on Monday, which was a Harry Nilsson song later.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he's not doing Peace and Love by then.
Right. This was decades before. This was Ringo was still hot commodity, right? I mean, he was still
a drunk.
He was still a drunk. And I think on the keys over here, I want to say that's supposed to be maybe Nicky Hopkins.
Yeah, I think that is.
I think that's supposed to be Nicky Hopkins over there. I've never actually looked to see who some of these other people are in the crowd here. I love the wizard though with the hat in the back. Yeah, but I've always enjoyed this record, and the artwork is pretty cool on it. So that was easily number 10, and that's my one Ringo submission.
Okay. Yay! Somebody chose a Ringo album.
Yes, got to give Ringo some love.
How many Ringo albums have you actually heard?
All of the 70s ones, everything from the 70s. Stop and Smell the Roses is probably one of my favorite Ringo albums.
It is one of my favorites.
That's
a really good album.
Old Wave has grown on me over the years.
I love In My Car.
Yeah. I would say, and then pretty much it's pretty sketchy from that point on until the recent times where the albums have just been like flying out. I mean, Time Takes Time is a good record. I have that as well.
Yeah.
On CD. That's a good album. But like start to finish, I mean, I mainly stick to that 1970 to 76 period for my really. If I want to listen to a lot of Ringo, I listen to all those albums between basically Sentimental Journey to Ringo's Road to Graveyard. That's kind of like my key, and then obviously Stop and Smell the Roses. That's
Time Takes Time on occasion.
That's where I'm going to go to Ringo. I could listen to all of his other releases, have 1 or 2 songs that I really thoroughly enjoy on them, that are on them. But to listen to them straight through as I do with a George record or a John record or a Paul record, it just doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I'll agree that it's gotten spotty since past Vertical Man. Yeah, I go to Vertical Man.
Vertical Man, 1998. Sure, that was a good one as well. La Di Da, right, was on that one.
Yeah. Right? George's last guitar solo on King of Broken Hearts, his last slide guitar solo.
That's right. Yeah, so that one's again good, like individual tracks to listen to, but as a consistent album, start to finish. And I know Ken Michaels, he nailed me to the cross because he loves everything and he listens to everything start to finish, and God bless him for that. But I just it's listening to days upon days of Ringo albums is just something I'm not into.
So my number 10 is
What do
actually
you
the
got?
album we discussed, Mind Games.
Very nice. Mind Games makes the list.
Yeah, I mean, and I love the back too. And I mean, this CD's got some little weird sketches and stuff, which I'll just kind of show. I love the picture for the picture sleeve.
The UK picture sleeve. Yeah.
I love that photo of John and Yoko. I mean,
Yep.
his most consistent album, obviously. It's duh. But there's just something special about this cover artwork.
A lot of symbolism in that cover, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of symbolism in that cover.
Yeah, you've got the clouds from Live in Peace in Toronto. I mean, you've got the sun. I mean, you've got like Yoko laying there.
Yoko with this big mountainous figure that John's walking away from, and then you flip the album over, and then he's a little bit closer to you. I remember studying that as a child, looking at it like he's kind of far on the front cover. You flip it around, he's closer to you. You know, I always enjoyed that. You know, and it's such a different look for John. He had shaved his hair right early in '73, so by the time that album was done, he was growing it back up. So he had that kind of like kind of just weird. It was just still growing back. So it was just a look you didn't see John have too often, you know, and he had it captured on that record.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful image, and someday when I find actually a decent vinyl copy, I'm gonna, once I get a MoFi one like your co-host,
yeah,
it's gonna be framed on my wall,
as it should be.
Yeah,
as it should be. Number 10 was Mind Games for you.
Yes.
Right. Number 9 for me would be Tug of War by
Good
Paul.
choice. Oh, that's got the hype sticker.
It does. It does have the hype. This is one of several that I own. This one has the hype sticker. 11 new songs. Yeah, this one, I've spoken about this on Two Legs several times. I think the fact that it's Paul's first album after John's death. I think this look that he has on the cover with him with his hands on the cans, not looking directly at you, but looking off into the distance, kind of symbolizes kind of how he felt at the time. Clearly, this was his response. This was a major musical statement to be released after John's death.
Exactly.
And there's so much going on in this picture when you look at it. The contrast between of the Tug of War, right? Two sides, red and blue, which is very, appropriate for today's times, right? Because everything's a tug of war, literally everything. I've always liked the scheme of it, the kind of interlocking puzzle piece thing. And fun fact, if you ever have, and I don't know if it's still hanging there, but in 2000 and let's see, my first time I went to England, so it would have been 2003, which I think you probably weren't even born yet.
No.
I went to the MPL offices in Soho Square, and I didn't have the balls to go in because you can't, but I walked past it. I saw the MPL sign and I knew I was there because one of the paintings on the wall in the office is this painting without Paul on the cover. It's just this kind of landscape here with the blue and the red pieces. And I'm like, I'm in the right spot, but I'm not going in. And it was so cool to see. So another one of the reasons when I saw that mural hanging up in Paul's offices, I'm like, oh, I'm in the right spot. And Tug of War to me has always been a cool I love the feel of it. I love his look on it. I love that he's just not directly looking at us. To me, it sums up the whole feel of the record.
Yeah, isn't that your favorite McCartney album?
It's not. Oh. It's up there. It's in the top 5.
Oh, I mean, it's not right if you don't have it in the top 5. Now, my number 9.
Go for it.
Of Sir Paul, Back to the Egg.
Back to the Egg. Very good.
I mean, I love the whole look of, everybody, just looking down at the earth. I think that is taken from the music video.
Yes.
And you've got all the band members. And I love the back of, because he wanted this to be known as a band, and
yes,
it symbolizes that. And I love the little ladder. I think that's kind of supposed to be a plane, and I love the look of it. I just want to have my wall be Back to the Egg.
Very, yeah. Again, concept cover, looking down, and again, it does come from the video, like where you just see them all leaning over, right, and looking at it
Yeah,
down. Yeah, cool cover, and he wanted it to be a band, right? He wanted
yeah.
it to be a band, and short. Sadly, it was only the one album we ever saw from them, but
I mean, so much potential.
so much potential, and I like the concept feel of it, the whole thing, and looking down on it and looking at it. But nice choice for number 9, as I
Yes.
say.
What's your
Uh,
number 8?
Number 8 for me, compilation mode album time. Okay, one of the first records, actually the first Beatle related record I ever discovered, which led to my fandom of the Beatles. But this was before I even knew he was a Beatle.
I
And
think I
this
know what
record,
this is.
this is Shaved Fish. What did you think it was? Double Fantasy?
Oh,
what
you
did
said
you think it was?
compilation.
Yeah,
I was afraid it
compilation.
was going to be Lennon, the 1981 comp or something.
Oh no, 80.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
no. This would be Shaved Fish. And it's a little outdated now because there's been so many Lennon compilations. But again, the only compilation Lennon oversaw in his lifetime,
Yeah,
so it's important for that. I know that he had a hell of a time trying to locate the masters for these recordings because they were all copies and stuff like that. That's been well chronicled. But I love the artwork for him. Now, there's a little risque photos on here, which we'll get to with
yeah.
the old sometime in New York City track. But I mean, other than that, I think the artwork is so wild because it's got like this cloud Imagine type feel to it across every song, right? And then you see the other, like Give Peace a Chance and Happy Christmas War is over with the freaking Christmas ornament on
Yeah,
a jet on a plane, on a fighter plane.
yeah.
Mother, like a picture of John dressed up as like an older lady. I mean, and then a picture of him crying in the background. The Mind Games picture, as you pointed out, holding it before, mimicking the single sleeve. Whatever gets you through the night,
I mean, the,
So it's a very weird but cool collection of artwork, really. And I want to guess it was probably done by Roy Kohara. Let me double check. It was, of course, because that was Capitol Records' in-house guy to do all that stuff. So I've always enjoyed. I don't play that much now, but this was my really first entry into anything related to the Beatles was this record and going through it. So I've always, and again, early Lennon hits, and the artwork is just I just always been instant karma, right? With a jar with
yeah.
like just wild stuff. So this is number 8.
My number 8 is the classic from '73.
I was wondering if that was going to work its way in.
Yeah, I mean, living in the material world. I mean, it's so simple, and I hate this. I just hate the black matte finish. I wish this was a used copy from the
Oh,
US.
is that a 2017 or 16 reissue, the
Yeah,
repress?
17.
Yeah.
They're
See,
not
but
common around here.
no, but
Harrison albums are scarce.
really, because God, when I was collecting vinyl, there were used copies of Living in the Material World readily available. I mean,
I've never seen a copy of Gone Troppo. That's
never.
yeah. I've
What?
never seen a copy of Press to Play on vinyl.
No,
Nope,
never in your searches. I mean,
never.
um, yeah, there's something about that one with this, like now with the, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it almost would have been a better cover. Like, I think that picture would have been a great cover.
It would have been, and it would have been my number 1 if it was. And it was designed by Kendall L. Johnson.
It was okay. See, I love that. I love that inner gatefold picture. That would have been a better cover. But what's your favorite song on that record?
Oh, geez. Don't let me wait too long, probably.
Oh, great song.
Or Give Me Love. It's a single, but
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
yeah.
there's
Don't let me wait too long. Who
there's no
can
Twee
see it?
songs for you on here.
No, there's not. But there's George Twee songs. And what I mean by that is like the song like Who Can See It. I think
Yeah,
that's like that's a I think that's a I think I haven't spun that one in a good while, and I think you've inspired me to do that. So I think I will do that after we're done today.
that is good. I mean, yeah. It's an underrated album nowadays. I think that
And All Things Must Pass gets all the attention as it should.
yeah, I mean,
But that was really given a nice treatment. Give me indulge me in 1 second.
okay.
Um, it got a nice box set
What year
reissue.
was that?
I want to say it was the same year. You want to say 2017, I think, but you got the CD remastered, bonus tracks of Deep Blue and Miss Odell, and a DVD. And a DVD that had performances all from his Tokyo show doing Give Me Love. Yeah, Sue Me, Sue You Blues, an acoustic demo version, Living Material World. So this one was done very nicely. And I want to say it was from 2006.
Oh wow, so it's older than me.
Yeah, but it was done very well. I thought you might have had that one.
I don't
I
have
mean,
the CDs. I
yeah,
don't
I mean,
have a lot of the CDs.
great booklet.
Yeah, I love that picture of George and
Great booklet. And again, so much more potential with this one. And again, you need to see the documentary. You have to watch it.
I'm trying to win it on Ken's radio website.
Another one. I love that one.
Yeah, I mean, George and his glasses. I mean,
great, just awesome photos. Yeah, thank you for making me dust that one off, Hudson, because I haven't played that one in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, that was your number 8. So
yes.
speaking of continuing with George, we're gonna go with this one.
Oh,
33.
I knew that was going to be in your list.
You did?
Yeah, because I mean, you always say how much you love that album.
Oh my God, this again, nothing extravagant that's going to make you go, well, there's like album cover of the year. To me, looking at this cover, and George, we all love George, and he's written so many deep, meaningful, spiritual songs that started his solo career. Very preachy. I mean, they're all great. But then by 76, he signs with Warner Brothers. He kind of he has Dark Horse release stuff through Warner Brothers. He got a new deal, and to me, like, this cover represents the freshness that George went through. Kind of new lease on life. Sitting there, the shades, just doing his thing, and 33 and a third. I mean, great design, great picture of George in the middle.
Great band on that album.
Oh, Billy Preston, Tom Scott, and the LA Express. It's just, to me, covers don't always necessarily have to give the vibe of the record, but I think in the case of like Tug of War and this one, it definitely does. This is George just being a songwriter, and not being looked upon as a leader and somebody who wants to hear religious, spiritual messages from, and that this cover epitomizes that for me, and I've always enjoyed that.
What's your favorite track on that album?
Got to be Cracker Box.
Beautiful Girl's the correct answer. If that was released today, that would be a #1 hit.
Yeah, I would say it's one or two, Beautiful Girl or Cracker Box or any of them really. I mean, but Beautiful Girl was that's an all-timer.
Yeah, my number 7, and I know this won't bounce off of you. I chose a Ringo album. I did not. I chose Time Takes Time.
Okay.
Which is my favorite Ringo album. And I just love the design on here. I love the little animals. I think it's just funny. I mean, Ringo's sobered up. He looks well. I love that Ringo font
on the top. Yeah. Now that looks like a repressing, right?
Oh gosh, it's just a music on vinyl.
Oh, it's music on vinyl.
I don't think there was an original pressing of this release.
I don't think there was, because it was during the dark ages of vinyl.
This was out of print for the longest time. I know it used to, it would be like $100 to get the CD or something.
Yeah, even the CD was hard to get.
Yeah. And here's the colored vinyl.
It's on colored vinyl as well.
Yeah.
Wow. And that album opens up with Weight of the World, right?
Yep.
Great song.
Should have been a #1 hit.
Should have been. Agree 1,000%.
Yeah. So what are we on to now? Number 6?
7.
Oh, 7.
7. Okay. Back to Paul.
Okay.
Back to Paul. Okay. Here we go. There it is.
Album.
Hudson's like, really?
Andy Nicholes.
Andy Nicholes, yeah. All full of it, baby. And here's an original pressing from 73 with the blue hype sticker.
I think
I
my hype sticker is purple on it. It's weird.
yeah. Listen, this is Paul in mullet mode and everything about it. I mean, the fact that it had a braille message on the back of it to Stevie Wonder, I think is so cool. Which actually George mimicked on his own record a few years later, a few months, I should say, a few months later with the Jim Keltner fan club. You
Yeah,
see, yeah. So he was just taking the Mickey out of Paul a little bit on that one,
yeah.
by doing the same thing at the bottom that he did here. I love it. This is like this is if you wanted to ask somebody what does the 1970s look like or what did it represent or who was it, just show them this picture of Paul, mullet, flower coming out of his mouth. I mean, the graphics. This is like 1970s vintage looking Paul here. Aside from the packaging, which I thought was fantastic, artwork by Eduardo.
What has the booklet?
Yeah, Eduardo Pelosi, which has the booklet all in here. Eduardo Pelosi, those you don't know,
Yeah,
is one of Paul's old mates back from the Liverpool days. So the booklet's included in here. All the great shots of the Wings over Europe tour of 73. Or this might have been 2. I forget. This probably was 7. No, probably 72 because this album came out in April of 73. So, and of course, probably the first time on a McCartney record, you got a lyric sheet.
yeah.
It's the only time it's the first time that Paul included lyrics on his album because he
And
was
profanity.
and profanity too, because he was because with these lovely photos that we see here.
Yeah.
He's very spotty with that. He included them on this. He included them on Band on the Run, Venus and Mars, but then you didn't get them on Speed of Sound.
Did you get him on London? Yeah, you got him on London.
You get him on London Town. You didn't get him on Back to the Egg. You didn't,
McCartney 2, Tug of War,
yes,
Pipes.
Press to Play. They've all had it since then.
Yeah.
But a couple of them, like Wildlife, Ram, McCartney, those early ones, he didn't include lyrics, and again, he used to get chided for that. But I love it. I love it because it's 70s. To me, it's 70s Paul, and it's my number one favorite Paul album anyway, but you all knew that anyway. So, and the medley still kicks ass, Tom. Love you, babe.
It does.
Yes, somebody who also loves the medley. Win.
Not the best thing on there.
No.
When I told him that was the most underrated song on Red Rose Speedway.
What'd he say?
He almost left the Zoom meeting.
Of course he did, because he knows that we're right, baby.
Yeah.
What do you got?
My number 7, going back to Paul.
Ha ha ha. Happiness in the Homeland. Now, is that an original pressing?
Yes, and it's got the shrink on, and it's
now
got
that's
everything.
An album that I know that you probably haven't. And that album sold by the truckload, so finding a used copy is not that hard.
This was not hard to find.
It never usually is. You can see that in used bins everywhere you go.
Yeah, I mean, every song on here is near perfect, except you gave me the answer.
Say it.
I mean, it's simple. I mean, 2 balls. I mean, the whole concept. It's just
and it also won album cover of the year.
Yeah, and I'll show the posters.
Yeah, let's see it.
Somewhere in here, so let's just hope I don't break it. I think.
Yeah.
This one, I mean, with all the balls, which is just wonderful.
Now the some of the if you have a complete copy, like you've got the strip, the photos, the poster, have all that, you have all that. So there's the poster, right? Mardi Gras, Paul and Linda doing Mardi Gras there in New Orleans in February of 75.
This took forever to actually piece together. This is not all an original. I went to a record store.
Oh, you had to piece all the other parts together. I mean, you look at that package, even like the concept, right? The red and the blue, the red and the yellow, representing Venus and Mars. Even on the sleeve, it's there. Which is so cool. It's such a great record. It's so great that it's my number 6. You see?
This reminds me of a series that you've done.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
This one's a little bit of this particular pressing that I have in my hand is odd though, because it's one of those rare Columbia pressings.
Oh.
So, and those are
You have that?
Yeah.
Oh. You're making my heart bleed.
It's the rare Columbia pressing, and you don't see those Paul albums on Columbia too often. So when I saw them, I tried to snap them up because it. Yeah, and curiously, the Columbia pressings didn't have all of the the poster or anything that you had in your copy. It was just the album. But again, I don't, I'm not going to pull out the other 10 copies I have in my other room. But
you have 10 copies?
Probably.
Oh my.
Pause it. Pause the recording. 10, 7.
All right, let's see all of these.
7. Okay. Venus and Mars. This is the Archive 2 LP. Okay, from 2014. Okay, that's 2. 3, just a regular 70s pressing. Another one, 4. Another one, 5. Another original 6. Another original 7. And another original 8. So yeah,
Wow.
8. Some of them, I've just, you know what it is, Hudson? Some of these I probably bought for $1 or $2.
Yeah.
Other times you meet people in life, who say, oh, my dad's getting rid of records. Do you want them? Whatever. Yeah. And what am I going to say? No. So, I'll show you, for example, okay? On the back of this one, okay? I bought this copy for $1.99, okay? See?
Oh.
$2. So if I'm in a store and I'm like, hey, it's $2, who can't use another copy of Venus and Mars?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, though, and actually, I don't even have the. I don't know if you have it or Tom does. The red and yellow vinyl, the colored.
Yeah, I
vinyl.
don't. I have that one copy, and that's it.
This one, I tell you what, though, the Archive 2 LP vinyl is really nice. They did a nice job on that because it was like a matte finish. It wasn't as shiny.
Oh.
So it's like a matte finish look to it. It's not as sharp or like the George Harrison one that you had, how it was very like slick and glossy.
Yeah, like everything is now.
This is not nice matte finish on this, which is very nice. Yeah. But yeah, that's just us geeking out a little bit. But that was my number, I think 6 or 7.
Yeah.
6. That was my 6. You're right.
You also have a truckload of these. Now we're to the top 5, so Paul territory.
Oh boy. Oh, and there's a brand new half-speed remaster. Very nice.
I had to get this because it sounds phenomenal.
Now, refresh my memory because there's been so many copies. The artwork in the middle on the label is just a reproduction of the original UK pressing. It's not the black.
No, it's not black, that ugly thing.
Which they did on the Here Music Archives re-releases and stuff. So they were
so expensive now.
They are.
I don't know if you saw this, but half of the Beatles albums are out of print now.
Like what? Like the 2012 and
yeah, those are
stereos and the
stereos
and
monos. Monos.
Are you kidding me?
No, I wish I was.
Do you have a full set of the stereo Beatles or no? Or you just
No. I just have I have most of them.
I can't believe that. That's now. Well, all right. So 2009 was when the box set came out on CD, right?
12.
And then 12 we got the stereo boxes, and then 14 the monos came, right?
Yeah.
Now I know the monos went very quick.
Yeah.
Which I don't even own. I don't own one of them. I don't own a full mono set at all.
Do you own a couple?
I have original monos, but like those 2014 monos, I don't own one of them.
Oh wow.
I don't know. I have the stereo set, but I don't have the mono.
Wow.
Because that's even back when it came out, that was a lot of money, and times were different. So, but so if you go to Amazon right now and you looked up, try to buy, say, a copy of Rubber Soul, the 2012 stereo, you can't find it.
So funny story. I went to go buy a copy of Please Please Me. They shipped me a picture disc of Please Please Me.
A picture disc.
And well, I got lucky. And for my birthday, my dad ordered me a copy of Beatles for Sale because I just didn't have one, and I got a Japanese one.
So if you buy from Amazon, they're sending you these other editions. They're not sending you
like third party.
Yeah, third party. Wow. You'd almost have better luck now going to a traditional store and asking them to get it for you.
Exactly.
And then Amazon,
that's what I've done.
That's what you've been doing.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
So
You're up.
Moving on. So Ram.
Oh yeah, Ram. So Ram is your 5. Artwork was done just really by Paul and Linda, totally homemade.
Two Beatles.
Well, yeah, two Beatles doing their thing. Again, the Beatles were very, risque with what they wanted to include on their album covers back then. We saw Red Rose Speedway with the photos in there, John with his, and things that would never fly now, but they were willing to push the envelope with what they wanted to push.
If they do a sometime in New York City box set, they can do that.
I think they probably will, though.
Yeah, it is a Lennon estate. They can do what they want.
I think they probably will. And I kind of wish they would just skip that. I mean, Sean has said that that's coming next, but can't you just skip that and just do a multi-box on Mind Games, please? Do that next.
I think they should do Mind Games and Walls and Bridges together.
Yeah, because they were done at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on, number 4.
4 or 5? Let me see. Wait, hold on a minute. I lost my 4.
3, your 5 was Venus, I think.
2, 1. Right. Okay. So number 4. Number 4 for me. Going back to John. Okay. And funny, we just talked about Hamburg before we went on the show. Rock and Roll.
Oh, good choice. That's an honorable mention.
That's for you. Rock and Roll. Man, this is an album I grew to appreciate a hell of a lot more as I got older.
I love that album.
As a younger Beatle fan, when I was your age, I had it. I didn't really care for it. As I've gotten older, I think when I listen to Solo Lennon, I think I grabbed this album first, more than often than not, because it's just him doing the rock stuff. Now, classic photo here of John taken in 1960 by Jürgen Vollmer, who took the photo. Not Klaus. Yeah, it was Jürgen took the photo, and Jürgen Vollmer, as we know, was the French guy who actually inspired the Beatle haircut. And that was Jürgen. And I didn't know until much later that the other Beatles are the ones here in this photo.
I didn't even know that.
This is Stuart, George, and Paul on this photo. I didn't know that till I was like 30. I just used to think it was just some random people running in the street, but that's, and in fact, I didn't know that till I listened to an interview with John talking about this album, promoting it on WNEW, which was the local rock station in New York at the time when he was on with Scott Muni, talking about this album. And you'll see 3 people in Blurred, and 3, and then later he told them that it's Stuart, George, and Paul, which I think is tremendous. For John to put those 3 guys on one of his albums in the 70s, it's pretty awesome. Now, the original concept, the artwork for this album was supposed to be a gatefold LP that opened up with more artwork and drawings from John from the 50s.
Do you have the bootleg of that?
I don't, because there was no bootleg of that. There was this, so that idea had to get scrapped because this had to be kind of rush released.
Yeah.
Because the Roots album, which was put out by Adam 8, was already out in the market, which was a deal that John agreed to, but then Morris Levy ended up making, putting out an illegitimate copy of the album of these songs, and Capitol quickly had to kind of get something officially put together. And this was hastily assembled and released in February of 75. So it's a shame. I would have loved to have seen a gatefold Rock and Roll with John's artwork going back to the 50s and maybe even some more photos. But I've always enjoyed this cover because this is John Lennon at his core, who he was, a rock and roller. And that's what this album is.
Do you have that bootleg?
I do not own the Roots bootleg. No. And this is I don't know a year. This is an original pressing, but it's a repress. I want to say
77 maybe.
No. It was later than that. This is like a 2005 or 2006. Because Capitol Records, actually I want to say it's 2006. Capitol did a run of repressing Lennon albums in the 2000s. They repressed Imagine, they repressed Rock and Roll. They repressed only a couple. And
what mastering is that on that one? Is that the early 2000 mixes?
This would be a vinyl pressing of the 2004.
Did they do a Mind Games? Do you know?
I do not. I don't think they did Mind Games. To my knowledge, only Imagine and Rock and Roll. and maybe Walls and Bridges got vinyl releases off of
Yeah,
those.
because I think I've seen Walls and Bridges with that alternate cover on vinyl once
But
before.
right, but I don't think the other ones did. And this is what that version is. So yeah, rock and roll for me, number 4.
Yeah. So number 3 for me, speaking of good old Paul, which I think this album is just, this is chaos and
There
creation.
is a long way between
I
chaos and creation. Now, yeah, that's a nice choice there, Hudson, because what do you think of, what do you like about the artwork on that one that, you
I
have it
mean,
ranked so high?
it's a black and white photo. It's depressing. I mean, it's just young Paul. I mean, what is he, 15 there? Just
Got to
sitting.
be sitting there at 24th Lynn Road with his brother Mike taking the photo.
No, pull this out and show the. I'm sure you own like 15 originals of this.
No, actually, that I only own one original, which is a gatefold.
Is it still on? I mean, I love these hand.
Oh, the drawings in there, which are all done by Paul, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I love this sketch of Paul,
Yes.
and I'll show
Now
the link.
is that a 2018 repressing you have there?
Gosh, I did not sell my kidney for one of those. And I love how you can just flip it and it'll.
And that is so cool. That is one of the coolest things about that whole package. That, to your point, like the black and white photo, it's a very classy looking record. It's tasteful, it's nostalgic, it's sad, it's all those things. And I think you see that when you look at that cover, you're like, okay. I mean, look at Chaos and Creation in the backyard. And what's the cover? Him sitting in his backyard.
Yeah, Nigel Godrich, you need to get on this podcast. I really want to talk to you about how you pushed this man.
Very few do, and when they do, they get good results. John pushed them. We know. Look at that. I mean, that needs no explanation.
I think David Kahn did somewhat.
Somewhat. I think when he gets pushed, I think you see it. And you see, and that's what happens when he gets pushed. You get a great product, and that's chaos and creation.
So number 3 for you, Mr. Nicholes.
Number 3 for me, a little bit obvious one. Okay, but how could it not be? We talked about this at the top of the show, but yeah.
let's just get this over with.
Get it over.
It's my number 2.
Okay, let's get it over. It's my 3. It's Hudson's 2. I mean, I was gonna pull out that 2001 colorized vinyl.
You
version.
have that?
Yes, I do. But I decided to stick with the traditional. This here is a copy from 2017 that my Two Legs co-host got for me and mailed it to me because there was one left and I didn't grab this at the time. So this version's nice. I mean, you've got a 1970, looks like original there.
Funny story. I'll tell the story how I got this while you're opening it up.
Yeah,
so I was at the Brimfield Flea Market in Massachusetts, which is an outdoor flea market. They've got everything, but they've got a lot of good record deals. And there was one there, and all of her records were $5. And she had one, but it was missing the Apple Jam. And she's like, I got a complete one in my camper. So I hiked a good 3 miles to get one of them for $5.
Really?
Yeah.
With the poster?
Yep. Complete.
Nice.
Mint.
Now, all right, yeah, which is mint for $5. See, that's when you do your homework and you go to these shows and you look around, you find it,
Yeah. So number 2.
Well, I love the UK reproduction of the Apple label here.
Yeah, and I hope they continue that with the reissue.
I'm sure it will. It's I mean, listen, it's all things must pass. I don't know what George was going for when he colorized it. I think he was just trying to, and then if you looked at you see the inside of that, he actually updated those pictures and putting like trains and stuff in the photo. I think just to kind of talk about how the world is changing at the time, but I understand why he did it. But I mean, you can't beat the listen. That's the artwork, the black and white photo with the gnomes. That's it. That's all things must pass.
Yeah. So number 1, number 2.
Two for me. Going back to the last 2 are 2 Paul ones. Okay.
Just show them both at the same time.
Let's just get it over with. Okay. I do a Paul show, people. Come on. I wasn't going to show you, 15 George records. So 2 is London Town. Okay. And 1 is this one. Now, this is the back cover, but I'm counting it. To me, this is always the cover. Okay. Why London Town? I think I love the gray. I love the black and white juxtaposed, the color letters on the top here. You don't agree with this choice, but that's okay.
I like that cover.
I love the colored letters juxtaposed, the black and white. You know, the Tower Bridge, Paul, Linda, and Denny here in their black kind of. I just love it. And then again, the back is all color. I love that. I love that kind of the hybrid of the black and white, and here, and then the wings, and then the poster that's included with it is great. Lyrics again.
Love that label.
Love the label. It's this is one of
Last Capital one, right?
Last Capital one for until Press to Play. So this was
And
it.
then, yeah.
I mean, number two, to me, I love London Town. I love the artwork. McCartney is my number one. Listen, we know it's the Cherries, and listen, it should have been, but you know, everybody knows it should have really, this should have been the cover. This should have been the cover. This is one of the most iconic images of all time, and you know, I even have a T-shirt of it. I mean, this to me, this is like the best. I mean, the artwork's great on the inside, Linda's Polaroids, but man, Paul and Mary in jacket, it's my number one. What do you got?
Number one.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
It's creative. It's fun.
There's the flap.
It's one
Listen
of the,
to this record, says Hudson.
I mean, it is a perfect album in my eyes. I mean, I love the playfulness of this. I mean, and great little booklet. Great.
The booklet, the little history on the Lennon name, the surname, right?
Yeah, I mean, great reproduction.
Now what issue is that? Is that an original UK?
No, 2010 press.
Oh, okay. That's a 2010 press.
Actually sounds pretty good.
I tell you what, a lot of thought went into that record in terms of how it was made. And I'm not talking about the music. I'm just talking about the artwork, the production, the promotion. I mean, John went all out with that album in terms of a sales pitch. He wanted to make something commercial, because in actual fact, the artwork on that record was supposed to be the artwork cover for Rock and Roll.
It was.
And it wasn't. So he ended up using it for Walls and Bridges, but I think it works. You know, the football, you know, John Lennon, age 11, you know, with the two guys doing football player. It's, soccer for you Yanks, football for everybody else. But I've always, a lot of thought went into that. Again, Roy Kohara. And that's a guy, I don't know if he's still living or not, but man, somebody should Google him, because Roy Kohara did so much artwork for solo Beatle records. That guy would be worth a conversation with.
Yeah. Anybody that spoke with the Beatles, I think, are worth a conversation.
I mean, look at it. I mean, a lot of the albums we talked about today, that guy's name is all over them in terms of the art, in terms of the artwork. So, you know, I think it's worth a conversation. I mean, it's, you know, artwork is everything's subjective, but I mean, you know, if I think some people just like the music, they don't even care about the covers. You put the album on, you display it, you let it sink in, you look at the cover, you know, and you enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. All right. So let's get on to the worst.
Oh boy, the crappy craps. Want me to just knock them all out in a row?
Yep.
All right. Now, my worst. Okay. I went with 4 because I picked one from each Beatle, to be fair.
Because Paul's. That's
if I picked another one, then I would have had 2 by one Beatle, and I want to do that. I want it to be an equal opportunity offender for these horrible ones. Now, let's get the Paul one out of the way first, okay? Love the music on this record. Love it. Love it. But I hate the cover.
I hate that album.
Yeah, my co-partner agrees with you. He hates it too.
I like side 1.
I love the music.
And Through Our Love.
I love the music. I hate the cover. All right. Paul's. Okay. Ringo. This one should have never seen the light of day. Never.
Is that a promo?
It is. It's a radio station promo.
Oh, lucky.
This one should have never, ever seen the light of day. Ew. George Gontrapo.
It's a good cover. It's fun.
It's maybe, I don't know. There's something could have been better here. I don't know. Do you like this album?
I hate that album.
Yeah. So it's, you know, Wake Up My Love. That's the Way It Goes, Dream Away. I mean, there's a couple good songs on there. Dream Away, Circles.
It's probably the worst solo Beatles album for me.
Really?
Probably.
Worse than any Ringo album?
Okay, I take that back.
Come on. All right,
Well,
number one, which should be no surprise to anybody, is this doozy.
and you own a vinyl copy of it. Oh,
Several. Yeah. Great concept. I love the newspaper thing. Jethro Tull did this with Thick as a Brick the year before. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons also did the newspaper concept with their 1969 album, The Genuine Imitation Life Gazette, which is a great album. But this one, John, what the hell were you thinking with this one, man? You know, it's historical, which is nice. I think is the petition to have them stay in the United States still in here. I think this has that in here.
probably.
Give me 1 minute. Indulge me if you don't mind here.
Yeah.
There's that. I think it's in here. Let's take a look. No, I could have sworn I had it. Hold on. Is it inside here? There. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, look, here it is. This was the petition you could fill out to send to keep John and Yoko in the United States. In the belief that the statue of our nation in international opinion will be enhanced by the presence of John Lennon and Yoko in America, that the Lennons make a singular cultural contribution to our nation, that it is in the public interest to have individuals of international artistic accomplishment residing in our country, that the history of our nation encourages individuals capable of great contributions to our culture to live here and work here, and promotes the free expression of their artistry, and belief that the principles of our Constitution guarantee as fundamental personal rights the entitlement of John Lennon and Yoko Ono to live and work freely in our country. I wish to publicly add my name to those who oppose their impending expulsion and who support the legal and legislative steps necessary for their permanent residence in the United States. I mean, included in the album. So it's nice from historical, but I mean, in terms of design, I don't like it.
I like that album though. There's some good songs on
it. There are some good ones on there. But
I mean, I was speaking to Jude Kessler the other day, who will be on next week's episode with Lena Stagg. That's her favorite album, period.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen, I can see why, it just, I don't know. It could have been, again, this was rushed. All right. So let's see your 4 or 5. Do you have
Number
5 or 4?
I have 5. They're all Paul's.
Oh, come on. You're killing
I
me,
love
Smalls.
this album now.
How do you hate that artwork?
I wish they would pick a nice picture of Paul and Elvis. I mean, it's just flowers.
In the dirt.
Yeah.
That's the concept, man.
I mean, I like that photo better. I mean, This is like a top 5 Paul album.
I know you're just not a fan of the artwork, which I thought, I almost made my list, but that's, it almost made mine.
Yeah. Number 4, great album. Paul, please reissue this on vinyl.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a crapper. That is a crap. I should have had that one.
Be reissued on vinyl. I mean, seriously.
And remixed, please. It's too damn loud.
No wonder why David Kahn wouldn't come on the show.
Yeah. The loudness. That would have been a better cover.
That would have been a great cover. And indulge me, but the album artwork, the actual physical record, the cover folds out into a poster, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it opens up like a trifold thing.
I mean, do you remember going to Starbucks and did you buy it at Starbucks?
I bought the CD at Starbucks. Yes, the vinyl I bought from one of my usual record stores that had it in stock.
Oh wow. I know you hate this album, but Driving Rain. He looks drunk.
Yeah, bad cover. You're not
great
right.
album. Great album.
Bad cover. And I tell you, fun fact, it was so poorly received that the marketing people actually, 6 months after the album came out, designed a slip cover. You ever seen CDs like that, Hudson, where they have a cardboard slip cover
I've
over
seen
it?
that.
So they took a cardboard cover of a slip over that, and it's a picture of Paul from the promotional tour book of him riding in the car, and they threw that over the cover of the CD to cover up that hideous, because you know what he's doing in that photo, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's urinating.
Yeah, come on. But listen, all right, I'm with you on that one.
And these two. Ugh.
Well, Tom Agnotti likes the one in your right hand. He, he likes that choice for you.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
feet
his favorite album of all time.
of
We
all
know.
time, baby. Now, tell me why Tripping the Live. Now, is that the highlights or the double?
This is the double.
Just playing that
It,
this morning.
yeah, I played it today too. Interestingly enough, check out my episode with Darren DeVivo on this shameless plug. It's just blurry. Um, and
It's one of my favorite live albums though of his.
I really like it too. I like the junky vocals.
Why do you call it junky vocals?
He sounds like he's dying.
Really?
His voice was better on
Well, give me an
the.
example.
I
Give me an
mean,
on a song. I just listened to the album today.
My Brave Face. I mean, he sounds like he's been smoking a lot. I mean,
First time back touring, so maybe there was a little of that. It's interesting too with that record, which he did not do on any of his subsequent live releases. He kept the in between banter of songs,
yeah,
which is which gives that record charm. I love that. So like when you hear, because I just listened today, like right before "Got to Get You Into My Life," he's like, "Here's a song that Robbie was working on this morning, actually, before we came here," and they go right into it. After this, any live album, all that in between stuff is cut out, and I think those make live records great because they're a unique experience when you have that.
yeah. But that wraps it up. I'd like you to tell us about Two Legs and anything about the Beatles.
Yeah, we'll do. This was a fun little exercise. We do so many shows on the music of that we talk on these records, but talking about the artwork was a nice change of pace because to look at it and say, oh, do I like this or do I not like this? So kudos to you for coming up
Yeah,
with that. And thank you for asking me to come on again. Number
Yeah,
one.
no problem.
Two Legs. So Tom and I are, I don't know when you're dropping this, but,
In like 15 minutes.
okay. So
After
yeah.
we end.
So our latest episode, episode 133, is going to drop tomorrow, Saturday, June 26th. And that show is called Lyrics. And on that show, we invited on Matthew Street, who is a pretty popular YouTuber, Beatle YouTuber. And we picked our favorite 5 or 6 best McCartney lyrics that we liked. And we spoke about them and why we liked them. And curiously enough, all 3 of us had one choice that was the same throughout
Not
the whole
surprised.
thing. We did. And it was from an album that one of us actually showed up today today. I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was the one song did come from one of the things that Hudson showed. So that's going to drop tomorrow. We just capped about a week ago our ranking the track series, where Tom and I ranked every McCartney song based on our most favorite to least favorite on the main canon, which was a weekly series, pretty much weekly series that we did on YouTube. We're taking a break from that now, and we are because we've been very busy with Two Legs, just pumping that out and doing other shows. We are going to continue doing live stuff, but we're working on that out over the next few weeks, and we will return to doing some live things. Anything But the Beatles is another kind of spin-off show that I do with our friend Ethan Alexanian, who's in this little podcasting world of us, and we are going to be recording our 3rd installment. Hopefully in the next couple of days on the 1977 Beach Boys release, Love You.
Oh,
so
that's gonna be good.
That's gonna be because that's such a quirky, weird album, and I know Ethan likes that stuff. And do you know the record, Hudson?
Somewhat. It's okay. I was a Beach Boys fan before I was into the Beatles.
You were? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we like tackling the stuff that is just a little bit off the radar, so like we're not going to talk about Pet Sounds. We're going to talk about Love You. So that's all we've been up to. And our YouTube subscription is well over 600 now, which I owe a certain thank you to somebody because I think he helped us in that regard. So thank you for that. We hit our over 600 threshold. So we're getting there. We want to get to 1,000, hopefully, in the next year, maybe, hopefully a year from now.
I think you can.
We're trying, we're not talking more talk. So we don't talk about we just mainly talk about Paul, but we do kind of diverge into other things. Like I know that when the Harrison box comes, Tom and I will do something live for that. Tom and I are also going to do a little bit of a series where we talk about our top 30 favorite records outside of the Beatles, in 3 different installments. So like one Wednesday when we go live, we'll do like 30 to 21. talk about them, and then the next week we'll do 20 to 19, and that's going to be our first live foray on Two Legs, and just expanding our channel a little bit. It's very McCartney centric, but we're just going to start to navigate into slightly other areas to just hopefully grow our base a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll plug mine. Just if you watch it, please subscribe to the YouTube page again. I just hit 100 and thank you to everybody that's done it. And if you're not subscribed, please do so or you will be executed.
Subscribe, damn it.
I will send Kiddo Tool after you.
Get the queen off with
Yeah.
their heads, queen.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get in contact with me or leave your comments, send me an email. I know podcast@icloud.com. And on that note, for Hudson, Randy, and Andy Nicholes, no words.